All right, everybody, we ready? Got Ms. Porter here?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. All right, is Marietta Annex here? Yeah. I don't think they're here. I don't think they're here yet, are they, Ms. Robinson?
They're not here yet, Your Honor.
Judge,
You reached out with call.
Okay. All right, gentlemen, when I call your name, just wave at me, make sure your lawyer sees that you're here so that we can get through this as quickly as possible. All right, who is the lawyer here for Christopher Williams?
Judge, it said Miss Hemingway. I'm not sure if that will be Crail Lewis or not, or if that's someone else.
All right. Maybe need to so let me Bostic, do you have Crail's number?
Yes.
Can you text him and see if he'll jump on? Thanks. All right, let's see. We'll start with Jermaine Marnegay's lawyer. Thank you, sir.
I'm
All right,
here, Judge.
All right, Mr. Richardson. All
Yes,
right,
Judge,
Bob,
ready.
take this position 622 CP 211586. Jermaine Marnegay, he's been 95 days without indictment, no bond as of August the 19th. Possession of Schedule 2 controlled substance, trafficking in illegal drugs, possession of firearm or knife during the commission or attempt to commit certain felonies, possession of controlled substance, Schedule 3, 4, or 5, possession of marijuana less than an ounce. Free trial.
A second. Number 6. First calendar or add-on calendar? First calendar.
First calendar.
Mark his 6 prior arrests, open case 20 CP 191-820, trafficking, cocaine, trafficking, and illegal drugs, firearm, during marijuana with the intent. Conviction is a 2015 battery, family violence, cruelty in the third. Nothing further.
Go ahead, Mr. Richardson.
Judge, Mr. Marionnet is a lifelong resident of Metro Atlanta area, attended Southside High School, is a father of 3, grandfather of 2. His entire family lives here. I believe he has 4 brothers, 2 sisters. His mom may be on the platform, but she is here. He lives in the Metro Atlanta. I think he lives in the southeast side of Atlanta. Ends up being DeKalb County. Judge, he's been in custody since August the 18th, 2022. We asked the court to set a reasonable bond in this case. He has substantial ties to this community. He also has a private business, a moving company, as well as a cleaning company. We'd ask the court to set a reasonable bond in the amount of $50,000 total. What other terms and conditions the court deems just and appropriate?
What says the state?
Yes, Your Honor. According to Judge Brasher's bond order, with the 110 grams of oxycodone, that's a Schedule 2 drugs for Table 3, that would be a $100,000 bond. For 58.7 grams of cocaine from Table 4, that will be $25,000. This defendant does have an open matter where there's drug-related offenses. The state would ask for the bond to be no less than $125,000, considering the amount of drugs and the variety of drugs that were recovered in this particular case. And the state would ask the court, recommend the court to use Judge Brasher's order. Thank you.
All right. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 3852 Bonnie Lane in Atlanta, Georgia. They have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew. You can only leave for court, lawyer, or seek medical attention. You live in DeKalb County, you can stay out of Fulton County unless you're here for court or to see a lawyer. Don't even come and get gas in Fulton County, sir. 25,000 count 1, 100,000 count 2, 15,000 count 3, 15,000 count 4, $250 count 5. 25,000, 100,000, 15,000, 15,000, and $250. Best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. Have a good holiday.
You too. Take care. Be safe now.
I think got Marietta Annex here now, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Shornay Robinson, can you wave your hand best you can? All right, there we go. Mr. Arrington?
Morning, Judge, or good afternoon, Judge. How are you?
This position one on the add-on, I think, pretrial. Sheree Robinson, 22 CP 210465, 139 days on indictment. Burglary in the first degree, theft by taking, misdemeanor as of July 7th, no bond. Trial.
In regards to Sheree Robinson, multi-state offender, 30 in Florida, 42 in Georgia, 1 LTA in 2019, currently on probation for Schedule 1 or 2. Sentence in 2021, 6 months confinement, 2 years, 6 months probation, 2 misdemeanor convictions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 felony conviction. Last one outside the drugs was a 2015 theft by shoplifting. Other convictions are for theft by shoplifting, robbery, fraud, controlled substance, drugs, and 5 arrests for probation violation. Nothing further.
Go ahead, Mr. Arrington.
Thank you, Judge. Yeah, Mr. Robinson's been in the Fulton County Jail for 139 days. The alleged incident in this case is said to have occurred in October of 2020, well over 2 years ago. As you heard from pretrial, he does have a little bit of a history. Most recently, Mr. Robinson was trying to come back to Fulton County from DDC custody to resolve these charges, but they were still pending. He actually was paroled out back to Rice Street, where he's been sitting, and now this is his first bond hearing outside first appearance. He tried to resolve this case, Your Honor. He wrote to the court a few times while he was serving time to be produced so the warrant could be served, so the process could be started. Unfortunately, that didn't work. So here we are today. The co-defendant in his case, he was arrested in early 2021, and he was given a UJR bond level 2 to a program in May of 2021. The case number is 21 CP 196666. Your Honor, this case is a burglary in the first degree. I would like to point out for the court that the police report lays out that it was the house at issue was undergoing a complete renovation, so it's unoccupied at the time, and the allegations that a hot water heater was stolen. Mr. Robinson reached out to Georgia Justice Project Judge earlier this fall, and we've taken on his case to kind of address the underlying issues that have led to so much of that arrest history that you heard about. He's been assigned a social worker, Ms. Ellen Goldwasser, who's also on this call. She's created a case plan with Mr. Robinson to address the areas that are underlying a lot of these issues. This looks like a lot of substance abuse help, decision-making, cognitive reframing, and she'll work with Mr. Robinson on community referrals. She's obtained a placement form, Judge, with PAD on their suite team. We invited their case managers to the Zoom, Judge, if you had questions for them. But he has been, Ms. Umberger is on the call right now. He has been accepted to that program, Judge. They can provide transportation straight to their placement. And that placement will include substance use treatment, employment and job readiness, and mental and physical health care. Beyond that, Mr. Robinson's been approved to attend orientation at Georgia Works. He's been interested in attending that program as well. Judge, if you're interested, I can provide a copy of the PAD acceptance letter and Ms. Goldwasser's social service case plan for the court, or if you have any questions about them, I'm sure they'd be happy to answer about any of the services we have lined up for Sheree. With all that being said, I'm sorry, Judge?
I'm sorry, go ahead. I thought you were finished.
I'm just going to ask, we're asking for a signature bond for Mr. Unsecured judicial release for Mr. Robinson to go to that program.
Where's he going to be living, Ms. Umberger? Do you know?
Okay, so we have, we would be putting him in our emergency respite, which is on Wesley Chapel. That would be just for the 7 days until I can get him into the treatment facility. I didn't really want to block a time frame, not knowing that day who's actually going to get released.
Is that the Wesley Chapel address? That's in Fulton?
No, ma'am. That would actually be DeKalb County.
Okay. All right. Let's see. What says the state? Let's see if the state has anything, and then we'll hear from you. Go ahead. What says the state? Ms. Porter.
Yes, Your Honor. Halbert Jones is the victim. He's on this video call, Your Honor, for observation only. I spoke with him and his wife. They were residents of that building or of that home, going under reservation or being renovations. The warrant does indicate that other items were taken in addition to the water heater. It was a security video in a box. This is all captured on video surveillance. The Joneses are requesting a very high bond. They're in fear of their safety. This was their home that was burglarized twice, and they don't feel safe in their home. For that reason, Your Honor, the state would say that this defendant does pose a significant risk of failing to appear in court with the 2019 failure to appear. He's on probation, has a substantial criminal history involving thefts and 5 probation violations. So there is some concerns that he will not respond to the court's orders when required to do so. Based upon that, the state would ask the court to grant this defendant a high bond. We do understand that he is statutorily required or entitled to a bond at this time.
All right, Mr. Arrington, do you want to respond quickly?
I mean, Judge, I hear what the state's saying. I was going off the police report that said it was undergoing a complete renovation. And Your Honor, I hear, you know, what the state's saying. They're concerned, but at the same time, this case is more than 2 years old. So if it is that serious of a matter, you know, you think they could have been moving on this while he's been in the state's custody this whole time. They've known where he is.
Right.
And Your Honor, this was not, given that it's a complete renovation, this is not a, you know, a individual Mr. Robinson has anything out for. You know, he has no reason to go back over there, and there's no, my understanding, there's no prior relationship or need for any ongoing relationship. So he'd be perfectly fine staying far away from the complaining witness.
All right, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 3309 PAMLICO Drive, Atlanta, Georgia. No further contact with Halvert, HALVERT Jones. You're going to have a 24-hour curfew, except for court, lawyer, medical, and any kind of treatment through the PAD program. Follow those recommendations. You're going to have the ankle monitor. I say paid for by the county. It's out of that ORCA money. And stay out of Fulton County. Let's hear for court or to see your lawyer.
Judge, would you be able to come to Fulton County for programming?
Hold on one second.
Sure.
It's okay. All right. He can come back if he has treatment through the PAD program. He can come back there, but he's going to have to let the ankle monitoring company know and you, so that you can let the defense, the state know. But he ain't going to get gas in Fulton County. He goes to treatment. He leaves. Okay. 25,000 on count 3, 3,000 on count 2. Look at that. I can do math. $28,000 good bond. Best of luck to you, sir. If there's any holds, by the way, on any of these people that have 48 hours to have that ankle monitor placed on their ankle once they're released. Thank you, Mr. Arrington. Have a good weekend. Happy holidays.
And Judge, this is a bond order I send to your email, correct?
The clerk will do this bond.
The clerk will do the bond?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Mr. Robinson has not had a preliminary hearing, Your Honor. Is there a chance we could be placed on the next available prelim calendar?
Ms. Robinson, what email does he need to email for prelims?
I can make a note of it, and then we can just make sure that it's noted.
Sure. The motion's been filed.
All right, we got you. Have a good holiday. Sir, you can leave the booth. Thank you, Marietta Annex. All right, Christopher Williams, we got Miss Bernard. Miss Bernard, you here for Mr. Williams?
Nicole Jones will be covering for Miss Bernard for Mr. Williams.
All right, Miss Jones, he's in Cobb County right there. Position 3, 22 CP 208-556. Christopher Williams, 211 days without indictment, charged with aggravated assault, possession of firearm or knife during the commission of a felony. As of April the 26th, 2022, there is no bond. Trial.
Judge, in regards to Mr. Williams, 8 prior arrests, open case, 19 SC 173361, heroin and obstruction, has an 07, just below capital offense, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon firearm during, still on probation for that, 07 SC 60959, sentence in 07, 5 years confinement, 10 years probation, 1 arrest for probation violation. Nothing further.
Go ahead, Ms. Jones.
Your Honor, as you stated, Mr. Williams has been incarcerated for over 200 days. His address is the same address. You ask that a reasonable bond be set in this case.
What says the state?
Yes, Your Honor, this defendant is entitled to a bond. However, he does have an open case, so there is some risk that he will commit new felonies pending trial. He's on probation and has a probation violation. There's some concerns that he will not respond to the court's orders. I had the opportunity to speak with the victim, Travis Adams, this morning. He is still in fear of his life. I don't see him on the link on the call, but I did send him the link. He indicated that he still has back pain. The bullet is still in his spine or lodged near his spine. For that reason, the state would be asking for a $100,000 bond, considering the facts of this case, the defendant shot the victim in his chest.
Sir, you're going to live in Atlanta, in Fulton County? Just nod your head if you're going to. You're not going to live in Fulton County? Sweet. All right. So you're going to have to supply your address upon release on where you're going to be living. You can have ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, except for court, lawyer, seek medical attention. Stay out of Fulton County unless you're here for court. See your lawyer. You're coming for court, see your lawyer. Don't even get gas in Fulton County. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. No further contact with Travis Adams. Stay away from 1447 Campbellton Road in Atlanta, Georgia, which should be no problem since you got to stay out of Fulton County. $90,000 on the ag assault, $10,000 on possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth. Thank you, Cobb. Darius Johnson,
Your Honor, did you say 90,000 on the first one?
90 on count one, 10 on, 90 on count
Good
one,
afternoon,
count
Judge
two.
Manning. This is my client. Sorry about that.
All right, 90 on count one, 10 on count two. Darius Johnson, wave your hand.
I don't see
Darius
him.
Johnson. Hold on a second. All
That's
right,
not
Darius,
Darius.
hold on. Darius Johnson, wave your hand so I can see it. Clearly wave your hand. Darius Johnson. Nope, not here yet. All right, they'll get him in here. Marquavius Jackson. All right, do we got Mr. Harvey here? All right, let's try another one. Hold on a second. Terry and Hudson. Who's representing Terry and Hudson? Is this you, Miss Jones?
It's
You, Miss Bumper?
yes, me, Judge. Good
All right.
afternoon.
Good afternoon. It's position 11, Bostic 22 CP 211719. Terry and Hudson, 91 days out of indictment. As of August 24th, there's no bond on aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, possession of a firearm or a knife during the commission of or attempt to commit certain felonies. Trial.
Judge, 6 prior arrests, has a hold in Ackworth for FTA, has an open case in Paulding for identity theft, fraud, nothing further.
Good. Counsel?
Yes, good afternoon, Your Honor. My client, as you know, he has been incarcerated for over 90 days, so he would be entitled to a bond. However, today we will be asking for a reasonable bond. Yes, he does have 6 previous cycles. However, he has no felony convictions. And I do want to let the court know that those FTAs or holds are a result of him being incarcerated here. Had he not been incarcerated here, he would have been able to make those court dates and he would not have those holds. So just to be clear, those are only FTA holds as a result of him being incarcerated on the dates which he had court. My client, he does have a stable employment. He is he's a very, very, very important financial earner for his family. He helps provide for his nieces and nephews as if they are his own children. However, since he's been incarcerated, they've had to go find other family members to reside with. His mother, she has a few different illnesses, and he has definitely stepped up and taken the place of her when it comes to those kids. He's able to just go ahead and go to work and do whatever he needs to do without committing any additional felonies. Like I said, I don't think that there will be any problem with him getting back to court, as his family did everything they could do to retain me, which means I do think that he takes this very, very serious. I do think he takes his case very serious, and he will be returning back to court. I have discussed with him the importance of no communication with the victim or anyone who knows the victim. He definitely understands that. And since he has been incarcerated, there have been no attempts that I'm aware of to reach out to the victim. In fact, there have been some alleged incidents where the victim has reached out to people in the jail and actually have tried to cause harm to my client. So my client is able to abide by all criteria or conditions that this court feels necessary, but I would ask for a bond no higher than $50,000, considering that he has no previous felony convictions, and that I do not think that he is a flight risk. He has a home here. He lives in close to Paulding, and he doesn't have a reason to be in Fulton County unless his job requires him to do so. And if that's the case, we can work that out at a later date, Your Honor.
Ms. Porter.
Yes, Your Honor. One moment. The state would ask for a bond to be set no less than $100,000. In this particular case, the defendant did shot the victim in his stomach. This defendant does have an open case, so there is some risk of committing new felonies pending trial, and has a failure to appear history, as counsel indicated, could be a result of his incarceration. Nonetheless, the state believes that this is a fair and reasonable bond, since the defendant is entitled to one.
Any contact?
Sorry,
Any
Judge.
contact with the victim?
A victim locate has already been submitted, and there's an investigator assigned to this case. So I was unable to speak with the victim today.
All right. Yes, Ms. Bumpus.
And I just would like to say it's not to be controversial, but it's not could be cause. It's definitely the FCA history is a definite result of him being incarcerated.
All right. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 1180 Sims Street. No further contact with Lavaughn, Lavaugghn, Morton, Morton, and have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew. You can leave for court, lawyer, medical, work, as long as you provide the location you'll be working, a schedule, and proof of employment to not only the ankle monitoring company, but to your lawyer so she can supply it to the state. You're going to have with that 24-hour curfew, you're going to stay out of Fulton County unless you're here for court or to see your lawyer. Why would he have to come to Fulton County to work? What kind of work does he do?
Your Honor, yes, he is in the entertainment industry, and they film at different locations. And so sometimes they may shoot in Fulton County. I can't say that when or where that would be, but I did tell him, if we had proof and documentation, we could get that to the ankle monitoring and to the state and go from there.
You say entertainment industry. Can't he entertain outside of Fulton County?
Well, he has to be it's not him. He actually works like on different sets. So he can't control where those sets are.
All right. Ms. Porter. You fine with that? He's not doing the entertaining. He works on like sets.
Yes, Your Honor, it's my understanding that he would have to present that information to the ankle monitoring company and to the state.
Okay. Well, since he can't be here entertaining, but if he comes here and he has to work on a set, he has to give his the exact place he'll be, a schedule, and proof of employment to you, Ms. Bumpus, and to the ankle monitoring company, and that's going to have to be sent to the state.
Understood, Judge. Is that understood? Can you nod your head, Mr. Hudson?
Ms. Hudson, yeah, okay, I see it. He's nodding in the affirmative. 60,000 on count one, 15 on count two. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth. Thank you, Ms. Bumpus. Have a good holiday.
Thank you, Judge. Good seeing you.
Let's see. What about Nikiris Ridley? Ms. Bernard, or is this going to be Ms. Jones again?
It's going to be Ms. Jones again.
Ms. Ridley? There he is. Position 2, pretrial 22 CP 208927. Nikiris Ridley. 293 days without indictment. I got disorderly conduct, right in a penal institution, false imprisonment, 2 counts of parties to a crime. Trial.
Judge, Mr. Ridley, 7 prior arrests, open cases, 21 CP 203-790, theft by receiving stolen property, 21 CP 204-780, street gang activity, 22 CP 206-244, theft by receiving stolen property, street gang, and 4 misdemeanor charges, 22 SC 180642, theft by receiving and firearm during. Nothing further.
Go ahead, Ms. Jones.
Your Honor, Mr. Ridley has been in for over 200 days. We do ask that a reasonable bond be set. I think he does have a bond in one of his other previous cases, and they're going to be bringing up the street gang case soon. And this case is a different one, so we do ask a bond to be set, so we'll not hold him back.
So he's got 10,000 in the case ending in 770, in the case ending in 780, 10,000. In the case ending in 244, that's 191,000. And in the case ending in 642, that's 5,000. What says the state?
Yes, Your Honor. This defendant is entitled to a bond. The state would ask for a bond no less than $150,000. This defendant has 4 open cases, 2 of which are criminal street game charges. This defendant is a part of the Money Team gang. Your Honor, in this particular warrants before the court, he forced 3 fellow inmates to strip naked and forced them to fight each other to obtain their clothing back. And this is all captured on video surveillance within the Fulton County Jail. For that reason, Your Honor, we're asking for a bond for $50,000 for each of the 3 victims listed. Your Honor, the state believes that this is a fair and reasonable bond considering the defendant's likelihood to reoffend with the 4 open matters and the gang affiliation. Thank you.
No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Do you know where he's going to live, Miss Jones? Sir, you're going to live in Fulton County? Give me a thumbs up. All right. 24-hour curfew with an ankle monitor paid for by the county. You can leave for court, lawyer, medical. No further contact with Cameron, Kameron Robinson, co-defendant, Anthony Vaughn, co-defendant, and Jamie Brown, that's co-defendant. Make sure I got that right. That's co-defendants, right? Or that there's the victims. Hold on. Nope, those are the victims. Sorry, those are the victims. Those are the victims. No further contact with those victims. The co-defendant's name is Quantavious Oliver, Quontavious, last name Oliver. That's the co-defendant. Ms. Williams, sorry, the other ones are victims. And Tyrone Gates, that's also a co-defendant. No further contact with the co-defendants. Count 1, 10,000. Count 2, 50,000. Count 3, 50,000. Count 4, 50,000. Count 5, 50,000. Count 6 and 7, 20,000 apiece. 10, 50, 50, 50, 50, 20, 20. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth. Got that, Ms. Williams?
And
Yes,
that
Your Honor.
concludes my, I'm sorry, and that concludes my business, Your Honor. May I be excused?
Yes, ma'am. Have a good holiday.
Thank you, you too.
All right, I got Justin Gotel. Is Mr. Hudson here? Hudson's not here. Hold on a second. Which one was yours again, Mr. Orca?
My Judge Manning, mine is Darius Johnson, and he's back. He's got 2 separate cases, 2
All
separate
right.
case numbers.
Gotcha. Darius Johnson, wave your hand. There he is. It's Bostic is 4 and 5. 22 CP 211658. Darius Dante Johnson, 94 days without indictment. Purchase, possess, or control of scheduled substance, Schedule 1 or 2, narcotics, and Schedule 2. $7,500 good bond as of August the 22nd. Position 522 CP 211684. Darius Dante Johnson. Now we got BGCSA possession of Schedule 1 and 2 with intent to distribute. BGCSA possession of Schedule 1 or 2 with intent to distribute. BGCSA possession of Schedule 1 or 2 with intent to distribute. And BGCSA possession of Schedule 1 or 2 with intent to distribute. BGCSA possession of Schedule 3, 4, or 5 with intent to distribute. Possession of methamphetamines with intent to distribute. Possession of cocaine with intent to distribute. Possession of MDMA with intent to distribute. Possession, manufacture, distribution, possession with intent to distribute a counterfeit substance. Wow.
Judge, in regards to Johnson, 4 prior arrests, open case 22 SC 1844475, capital CWAC, 2 counts and simple battery. Nothing further.
All right. Go ahead, counsel.
Yes, Judge, I'd be asking for a reasonable bond. He's 30 years old. He lives in Sandy Springs. He has no FTAs on his record. He's got a degree from Ivy Tech. He works in automotive. He has his own business, mobile car detailing, and he has a reselling business for used electronics. Purchase them, refurbished, fixes them, resells them. Judge, he's local. He's not a flight risk. All his family's here local. They've been supportive. They've hired private counsel. It's not an act of violence or crime of violence against the person. Judge, I'd be asking for a reasonable bond in the amount of $40,000.
What says the state?
I think Ms. Porter's on mute, Judge.
Yeah, Ms. Porter, you're on mute. Whatever you said, I'm sure was just outstanding. Let's see if you can do it again.
I apologize, Your Honor. For position number 4, it's the state's position that $7,500 is fair and a reasonable bond and should not be disturbed. There was a small bag of LSD that was recovered from his vehicle. As it pertains to possession number 5, the state would ask the court to refer or defer to Judge Brasher's court order. There were 5 grams of psilocybin mushrooms under table 3, that's $12,500. 6 tabs of LSD, $10,000, 3 pills for Adderall, $5,000, 3 pills of Xanax, $5,000. Less than a gram of meth is $1,000 according to the bond order. 4 grams of cocaine, which is under table 1, will be $8,000. There were 2 bags of MDMA for a total of 13.2 grams according to table 3, that's $12,500. It's for a total of $54,000 for the amount of drugs and the variety of drugs that were recovered. And the defendant does have an open matter, so there is a risk of this defendant reoffending in the future. That would be the state's recommendation.
All right, yeah, Mr. Arca, that's a $55,000 good bond. I'm not sure if there's going to be a revocation on that or not, but looks like there's something set up for January 26, 2023. Not real sure what's going on there. On
Which
count
case is
4,
that on, Judge?
that's on the CWAC case.
On the what?
CWAC.
Okay. So on the 658, $7,500 good bond.
No, I haven't said anything. I'm just letting you know that he's got $55,000 on that other case, on the CWAC case, that open case.
Got it.
Hope they're going to revoke. All right, position 4. I'm going to make that a $5,000 good bond. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Mr. Arca, is the 6973 Roswell Road his address?
That's my understanding. Can you go ahead and nod your head? Yes. Yes, Judge, that's correct.
All right, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons.
Okay.
$5,000 good bond on that one. Position 5. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 1105 Mount Vernon Highway, unit 3320 in Sandy Springs. You're going to have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew. You can leave for court, lawyer, and seek medical attention. 12 on count 1, 10 on count 2, 5 on count 3, 5 on count 4, 5 on count 5, 5 on count 6, 8, 12, and then 5,000. Need it again, Ms. Williams?
I just need the grand total, Judge.
Oh, I didn't add it up. Ms. Williams, you got all those numbers?
Yes, Your Honor, I have it.
12,000, 10,000, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, 8,000, 12,000, 5,000. Yeah, you should have wrote that down, Mr. Arca. I'm not doing the math in my head.
I was trying to keep up with you, Judge.
12,000, 10,000, 5, 5, 5, 5, 8, 12, and 5. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth.
All right, thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Have a good holiday. Have a good holiday.
All right.
Let's see. So Jacoby Hudson's not here yet, right? Anybody going to cover for Mr. Hudson?
Judge, I sent him an email and I tried to reach out to him, so I'm not sure on that.
Okay. What about, let's see, Demetrius Ballard? Who's going to represent Demetrius Ballard today?
Good morning, Your Honorable Court. Attorney Mike Cruz.
There you are.
Privilege and honor of representing Mr. Ballard.
All right. Position 12, 22 CP 212-270, 71 days out of indictment, no bond on aggravated assault with deadly weapon, possession of a firearm or a knife during the commission of a felony, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Trial.
4 prior arrests, no convictions, nothing further.
All right. Go ahead, Ms. Cruz.
Well, I want to thank the Honorable Court. I want to thank Ms. Porter, and I also want to thank Mr. Ballard. I see that the court is pretty much, for the sake of time, going through things quickly, so I'll make it quick. I do want to let the Honorable Court know that we have multiple witnesses on the line. There may be some on YouTube as well, but I do understand for the sake of time, I will briefly proffer those witnesses.
But you can proffer Ayala. This is bond.
Correct, for the Ayala factors. Those witnesses in support regarding the Ayala factors, Your Honor. Now, since September 9th, 2022, Mr. Ballard has been in custody for 73 days at Fulton County Jail. As the Honorable Court stated, we are charged, but we're unindicted with 1 count of aggravated assault, 1 count of possession of a firearm and knife during the commission of a felony, and 1 count of possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. In regards to the Ayala factors. We have several witnesses that are on the line. We have Miss Latoya McKinney. And for the court reporter, Latoya's common spelling, Latoya. McKinney is McKinney. Miss McKinney, if you would, please turn on your camera. Ms. McKinney is Mr. Ballard's sister. She's known, of course, his entire life. She is born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. She's currently employed with USPS as a mail carrier. She's never been arrested or convicted of a crime. She would testify favorably to the Ayala factors on the behalf of Mr. Ballard, that Mr. Ballard would not flee the jurisdiction. If granted a bond, he will not obstruct the administration of justice. If granted a bond, he will not intimidate a witness. If granted a bond, he will not be a danger to any property in the community and will not be a danger to any person in the community. We also have Pastor Hardy Ballard Jr. This is Mr. Ballard's father. I don't see him on this call. I don't know if he's on the YouTube link. However, he is currently the senior pastor at St. Luke A&M Church and the owner of Construction and Cement Works in North Carolina. Pastor Ballard will answer the Ayala factors in the exact same way that I just announced for Ms. McKinney. He is aware of Mr. Ballard's charges. He's advised me that he is willing to sign Mr. Ballard's bond. And he is also aware, because I personally advised him, if Mr. Ballard violates bond, he would lose any wealth he puts up for Mr. Ballard's bond. And he explained that he is willing to bet it all on Mr. Ballard. He knows he won't violate any bond conditions. And next we have his wife, Miss Shawn Brown. Excuse me, Your Honor. Ms. Brown and Mr. Ballard have been together for 16 years in total. They've been married for 12 years. They share 2 children together as a family, Alicia, who's 14, and Alea, who's 10. Mr. Ballard is the owner of a business. I believe it's A and A. Let me make sure I have this name right, Your Honor. It is Double A&A Grading and Paving, which is named after both of his daughters. He's had that business for 7 years. Mr. Ballard is a high school graduate. Mrs. Brown is a high school graduate. She is also a registered nurse. She's been saying a CNA for 16 years. They currently live, and that's Mr. Ballard and Mrs. Brown, together in Morrow, Georgia. And I have that address if the Honorable Court would like that address. There will be no firearms in the home. There are no firearms in the home. Mrs. Brown has never been convicted of a crime. And just to let the Honorable Court know, based on the allegations in this case, and the Honorable Attorney Porter can correct me if I misstate anything, but based on the information that I have, I understand that this is a case that may be a retaliatory case. So, Your Honor, just to put it on the record, we are asking for a signature bond for Mr. Ballard. Now, in the event that the Honorable Court does not grant Mr. Ballard a signature bond and gives him a reasonable bond, Mrs. Brown is aware that she would lose everything if Mr. Ballard violates bond. However, she expressed to me that she has absolutely no concerns regarding Mr. Ballard violating any conditions of bond. She is also willing to risk it all on Mr. Ballard, and she will testify the exact same way as I mentioned for the previous 2 witnesses regarding the Ayala factors. If bond is granted, Your Honor, she would like Mr. Ballard to reside with her where he lives, and her children.
What says the state? Ms. Porter?
Yes, Your Honor. I did have an opportunity to speak with Attorney Cruz earlier today. For this particular case, Your Honor, this defendant is entitled to a bond. The facts of the case is that the defendant did
Only been in 71 days, Ms. Porter.
Thank you, Your Honor. So this defendant is not entitled to a bond at this time. The facts of the case is that he did point a firearm at the victim and fired a shot at the victim's feet, which did hit and strike the ground. The victim is Roosevelt Jones. We do have good contact. I left a message for him today, so I was unable to speak with him today, but I have notes in our Odyssey that indicate that there's good victim contact. Your Honor, the state would recommend that bond be no less than $60,000. If you are so inclined to grant the defendant bond, $25,000 for the first count, $20,000 for the second count, and $15,000 for the third count.
No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 230 Charles Drive Northwest. No further contact with Roosevelt Jones. You can have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, and medical attention. Stay out of Fulton County unless you're here for court. See your lawyer. Don't even stop and get gas in Fulton County, sir. What kind of work does he do? Short and sweet, Mr. Cruz.
He's a contractor.
Contractor. Does he? Hold on.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Porter, anything about him leaving for work?
If he provides the information to the ankle monitoring company.
All right. He can go for employment as long as he gives the name of his employer, the location he'll be working, and a schedule to the ankle monitoring company. Gives it to you, and you get it to the state.
Can you repeat that, Your Honor, please?
24-hour curfew, court, medical, see his lawyer, employment. He has to give his schedule, proof of employment, where he will be working, and the times he will be there to the ankle monitoring company. Then you need to give it to the state.
Yeah.
25,000 count one, 15,000 count two, 15,000 count three. Best of luck to you, sir. You can lead the booths. Have a good holiday, Mr. Taylor, Ms. Cruz.
Thank you.
Judge, he has another case on the calendar, which is Kiara Kinley. Which
Is that one on the motions calendar?
On the motion calendar. Mr. Cruz has another case.
All right, you can hang out there, Mr. Cruz. I got to get rid of the inmates first, okay?
Well, that case has been resolved, Your Honor. That matter has
Right.
been resolved for Ms. Henley.
Ms. Henley's been resolved, so you're taking that off the calendar.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, have a good holiday, Ms. Cruz.
All right, you as well, Your Honor. Thank you for having me.
Jabari Hall. Jabari Hall, wave your hand. Mr. Zimmerman, there you are.
Yes,
It's
Judge.
position one on the add-on calendar, pretrial. Jabari Rashad Hall, 22 CP 213464. It's like 27 days without indictment. Aggravated assault. Incident date was 10/24/2022. Pretrial.
Yes, Judge. Good evening. Thank you.
Pretrial. Boston goes first.
Sorry, Judge.
Judge, you said who?
Jabari Hall. You need the booking number, Boston?
I don't have that. My number one is Elizabeth High.
There was an additional add-on. Mr. Hall was reset.
Yes, Judge.
All right, 2215.
Wait a minute. What?
22-15847.
Okay.
Give her 1 second, Mr. Zimmerman.
No problem, Judge.
His last name is Hall Jabari.
Yes, ma'am.
Jabari Hall, 5 arrests in Louisiana, 6 in New Hampshire, 1 in Texas, 10 in Georgia, 2 arrests for probation violation. Open case for simple assault and theft by taking in DeKalb. He's currently on probation in Habersham for fleeing and attempting to elude felony, sentenced in 2017 for 6 years. He has a prior conviction for bank fraud and burglary, the first offender plea, and 2 misdemeanors. Nothing further.
So, Mr. Zimmerman, I just do this for your own information. The 22 CP 205676, there was a motion to revoke bond filed on December the 9th. I mean, there was a motion to revoke bond that's filed. He's got a court date coming up December the 9th.
Yes, Judge, and I was just made aware of that. So I was hoping, well, I guess depending on the decision you make today, one way or another, that would likely be moot depending on the decision made.
All right. Go ahead with your argument, Mr. Zimmerman.
Yes, Judge. Thank you. And we will be asking for a reasonable bond to be set today. The circumstances involved in this case, the most recent case that Mr. Hall is here today on, he was actually, I would consider him a victim of the circumstances as he was shot in the face by the alleged victim in this case. The bullet went through the corner of his eye, out the side of his head. He did receive a fracture to his cheekbone. He has been having trouble receiving the appropriate medical care while he's been in jail. He has been in jail for 27, 28 days. He has significant ties to the community. His mother lives in Conyers. We would actually submit to the court that he would, if the judge would award him bond or issue bond, he would reside with his mother in Conyers in Rockdale County. He is not a flight risk. He is not a risk to the public. He doesn't impose any risk to the victim or any witnesses. Will be willing to obtain an ankle monitoring device, have a curfew as well, stay away from Fulton County, anything that the judge would recommend in this case. He does have another case from, I believe, 2021, which, like as Your Honor mentioned, is what the motion to revoke bond stems from. I'm assured that the state will say that these are the same facts and the same victim, and I have no nothing to add to that, but we would ask that with the conditions that Your Honor has been putting on every person prior to this case, that he would stay away from her and there wouldn't be any other incidents, and we could be able to try and get his case resolved and be no other issues before the court. So we would respectfully request a reasonable bond be set.
Ms. Porter.
Yes, Your Honor, my colleague is going to handle this case.
Okay, Ms. Porter's colleague, where you at?
I'm the colleague, Judge John
Oh,
White,
okay.
on behalf of the state. Judge, we are asking that you deny bond in this case, as we've not reached 90 days. This defendant was granted bond on 22 CP 205-676. And that bond was very clear that this defendant was to have no contact with the victim, Miss Chrishae White, CHRISHAE White. But he decided that he would have that contact regardless when he met with her on October 24th, 2022. And during an altercation, Miss White felt that her life was in harm and did in fact grab that gun and shoot the defendant. So this would be the second incident between the parties. We would ask that you not grant bond for the sake that this defendant poses a risk of committing further felonies if he were to be released, and that he poses harm to the victim in this case. I will note that I've been in communication with Ms. White, and she advised that a mutual friend reached out saying that that she needed to give the defendant his stuff back, and that she was, quote, playing her way out of the streets, which means that she could be killed. So we're asking that you deny bond, Your Honor, and the state looks forward to having the motion to revoke bond when scheduled.
All right, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 3222, so 322 Decatur Street Southeast. No further contact with Chrishae, CHRISHAE White. Ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew. You can only leave for court, see your lawyer, or medical. Stay out of Fulton County unless you're here for court or to see your lawyer. Like I always say, don't even stop and get gas in Fulton County. So fill up before you come to go to court, and fill up after you get home. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to make this a split bond. $300,000 on count one, no bond on count two. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth. So, Mr. Samuel, I see you on here. Your cohort, Mr. Harvey, Bruce Harvey, he has something on the calendar. You probably have his phone number. Just a good guess. You want to call him, see if he's going to come?
Your Honor. Real quick, for the no bond, I have to have a reason. What's the reason?
Danger to the victim. Chance he'll reoffend. He's already reoffended. He's got one count already.
Thank you.
Judge, you were asking me to call Bruce?
Yeah, it's got Marquavius Jackson.
I'll call him right now. Stand by.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Anytime.
Great. See, Michael Barber, are you here for Philip Dazier?
No,
Oh, all right, Mr. Rosenblum. All right, position 8, Philip Dazier, Deshayer, how you say it? Dazier. Oh, Philip Dazier. Thank you. 22 CP 210954. 120 days, no indictment, armed robbery, possession of tools for the commission of a crime, possession of firearm during the commission of a felony, theft by taking felony, theft by receiving, stolen property felony, expired or no license on person, hijacking a motor vehicle first degree, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, willful obstruction of law enforcement officers, possession of marijuana less announced, willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. Trial.
2 prior arrests. Only prior arrest was a misdemeanor, nothing further.
Go ahead, Mr. Rosenblum.
Thank you, Your Honor. As pretrial said, he has no prior arrest other than one misdemeanor arrest. He is 19 years old. Arrest date of July 25th of this year. So as you said, 122 days at this point. He has residence in Atlanta, Georgia, living with his mother, who will act as his secondary pretrial officer should you grant a reasonable bond this evening. Working for UPS as a loader for the last 2 years, was a high school graduate in 2020. Was planning to go to school when all this started up. I don't see where all factors would require. He is not a risk to reoffend. Nothing in his history indicates that, nor that he has any contact with the alleged victims, nor that he has either the funds or the means to leave the state nor the county. And he has the support of his family, who did retain us to try to get him a bond at this point.
All right. What says the state?
Yes, Your Honor. I had an opportunity to speak with Brandon Ford, who is one of the victims. I just called him because he did want me to call him once his case was called, so that he could observe this hearing. So I believe he's logging on now. The victim indicated that he is in fear of his life. This is an armed robbery, hijacking motor vehicle case in which the defendant pointed a firearm at the victim's head and demanded his property, which he took the victim's iPhone and his car keys, as well as his mother car keys. Your Honor, this defendant also had 2 firearms and 17.5 grams of marijuana on his person. And the firearm was reported stolen out of the city of Atlanta. For that reason, the state does understand that this defendant is entitled to a bond. However, the state would be requesting for a bond no less than $200,000 in total. This defendant does pose a significant risk, a threat or danger to any person, to the community, and a significant risk of intimidating witnesses or otherwise obstructing the administration of justice. As indicated, I did speak with Mr. Brandon Ford, and he indicated that he's on the call now. I don't know if he would like to address the court, Your Honor, but he indicated that he is in fear of his life and would like to see a high bond set.
Okay, looks like Mr. Ford, do you mind taking yourself off mute and be still for me? Stop walking around, Mr. Ford. Take yourself off mute. You raise your right hand for me, Mr. Ford. You swear affirm testimony you're about to give is truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right. Do you want to ask him any questions, Ms. Porter? You're on mute, Ms. Porter.
Right. Mr. Ford, are you in fear of your life?
Yes.
And that's all the questions I have, Your Honor. This victim has indicated he's in fear of his life. I think that's a significant threat or danger to any person, and also adds to the randomness of this crime. Therefore, the state would ask for that bond to be no less than $200,000.
All right, Mr. Ford, let me let you know that he's been incarcerated 120 days without a bond. He's statutory eligible for a bond, so I have to give him a bond today, okay? All right. No, I'm going to put you back on mute so I don't hear the background noise. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 2423 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, number 1306. No further contact with Brandon Ford. No further contact with Sherman Fambro. Going to have ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew. Court, lawyer, seek medical attention. $50,000 on count 1, 15 count 2, 15 count 3, 15 count 4, 10,000 count 5, $500 for expired license, 50 on hijacking motor vehicle, 50 on aggravated assault, 10 on obstruction, 500 on marijuana list announced, 10,000. I'll repeat it again. 50,000, 15,000, 15,000, 15,000, 10,000, 500, 50,000, 50,000, 10,000, 500, 10,000. Got that, Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thanks, sir. Have a good holiday.
You know.
All right, Mr. Harvey, thanks. We got Marquavius Jackson. Wave your hand. All right, here's 22CP 211721. Marquavius Jackson, 91 days with no bond, aggravated assault, pre-trial.
Two prior arrests, this case in an open case, 22 SC 180259, death by receiving stolen property and obstruction. Nothing further.
Go ahead, Mr. Harvey.
Well, Judge, he's statutorily entitled to a bond. I'd ask for a bond of $10,000.
What says the state?
Yes, Your Honor. Jordan Wilkins and his grandmother is on the video call. They're only here to observe only. I had the opportunity to speak with Jordan. He had difficulty communicating with me. There's bullet fragments still in his head. He has an additional surgery scheduled for December 2nd. They had to take out a part of his skull. He's paralyzed on the left side and has difficulty walking without support. This incident was captured on CCTV footage. The defendant shot the victim at the back of his head as he was walking away at the MLK MARTA station. The state understands that this defendant has been in custody for more than 90 days.
91 days.
91 days, Your Honor. He's entitled to a bond. The state would ask for a bond no less than $200,000. The state is aware that he has an open matter, so there is some significant risk of committing new felonies pending trial. And just based upon the facts of this warrant, Your Honor, speaking with the family, Your Honor, $2,000 bond is a fair and reasonable bond considering the facts of the case and good contact with the victims.
Well,
Mr. Harvey, you still gonna live at Pine Street?
Yes.
Thank you.
A $200,000 bond, Judge, is not a bond that anybody can make, and therefore it is the equivalent of no bond. If he's entitled to bond, he's entitled to a reasonable bond that he can make.
Okay. And Mr. Harvey, you may already know this. I'm not sure if you represent him, but there's been a bond surrender in 22 SC 180259.
And that, no, I did not know that, Judge.
Yeah, just prep in my calendar. So that way you'll at least know that. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 377 Decatur Street. Southeast, stay away from all MARTA, stations, bus stops, property. No further contact with Jordan Wilkins, Wilkins. You can have an ankle monitor paid for by the county. You can leave for court, lawyer, or seek medical attention. Don't leave your house for any other reason, sir. $100,000 good bond. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. And
Judge, what do I get for summoning Mr. Harvey here? Do I get paid as your deputy marshal?
No, you get a cocktail at my expense. Thank you.
Ms. Robinson, stroke Mr. Samuel a check for helping out tonight.
Yeah. Hey, that's my tax dollars. No. Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Harvey. Did Mr. Hudson get here? Jacoby Hudson? I thought I saw him.
He did join. I'm not sure.
I'm here, Judge.
All right. Position 10. Yep, you're watching me on YouTube.
Okay. Your Honor, I wanted to say Judge Drake already addressed Justin Gotel.
All right, so you don't want an address then, right?
Hey, can you see me now, Judge?
Yes, sir. You don't want it addressed? Did
Yes,
you file another motion?
I didn't even know I was on the calendar today.
So is that a no?
You said what now, Judge?
Is that a no? You don't want to address it again?
I mean, it hasn't been 90 days. It's been like a month, Judge. And I believe he already has a bond on it, a $6,000 bond. I think he made it already.
Mr. Gotel, wave your hand. No, there he is. All right, Mr. Hudson, sorry to disturb your evening. We'll take it off and that's it. Have a good Thanksgiving, Mr. Gotel. You've already got that $60,000 good bond. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth. All right, Miss Taylor.
Judge, I'm sorry, I'm in the dark here.
That's okay. Position 7. We all got to get going. It's a holiday weekend. Ready? 22 CP 211329. Robert Lyles, 105 days with no bond on possession of firearm by a convicted felon. Trial.
42 prior arrests, 3 FTAs, 13, 15, and 19, 3 arrests for probation violation. Currently on probation, aggravated assault, family violence, 1 year confinement, 9 years probation, sentence 11, 15, 16, 15 SC 137-988, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other felony convictions for drugs, aggravated assault, and a felony obstruction. Nothing further.
Looks like on 9/13/2022, there was a probation violation warrant taken out. Go ahead, Ms. Taylor.
Judge, on behalf of Mr. Lyles, he is a native. I actually think it shows on his book is she born in Atlanta, Georgia. So he's from here. Entire family is here. Father, parents are here. He is married, Judge. I believe he lives in Forest Park. He was employed at a bakery, and I think he actually has some other employment. I'm not remembering what it was, Judge. I'm not, because I didn't know he was on the calendar until I got a call from your office. So I do not have the file with my notes in it. But he did have two active good jobs. He has a family, he has children to support. Just so he has sufficient ties to the community. I heard some FTAs from some time, but the bottom line, Judge, is this man is not leaving Georgia. I'm hearing now that there is a probation warrant on him from September. Judge, I'm asking the court to consider a reasonable bond for him. And I don't know what the state will be asking for, but I've been hearing, and of course, I'm very familiar with the court and the bonds that you said. So, but we are asking for a reasonable bond. A reasonable bond for Mr. Lyles in this situation, Judge. And I think a reasonable bond for what he's charged with would be something in the neighborhood of $10,000 to $15,000. Good bond. Obviously, whatever we know, the ankle monitor conditions, etc. That I think would keep him in place. He would like to be able to go to work so that he could continue supporting his family. If I'm not mistaken, I believe his wife might even be pregnant, Judge. But I didn't have a chance to call them or anything to let them know that he was on the calendar. But I would ask the court to consider a reasonable bond in the neighborhood of $10,000 to $15,000 for whatever conditions the court places on the bond.
Thank you for all the flattery, Ms. Taylor. What says the city?
Yes, Your Honor. The state would ask for a bond to be no less than $25,000. The defendant that does have 3 failures to appear, so there is a significant risk of the defendant failing to appear to court when required, 3 probation violations, and a recent one from September. Based upon a criminal history and the facts of this case before the court, the state believes $25,000 is fair and reasonable.
All right, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons. Stay away from 30 Alabama Street, Atlanta, Georgia. Stay away from all MARTA property. Since you were arrested over there, they've already suspended you for a year. Bus stops, you see somebody wearing a MARTA t-shirt, that's MARTA property. Walk the other way. Bus stops, train stations, anything like that. You're going to have an ankle monitor paid for by the county with a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical, and work. You have to supply proof of employment, the name of your employer, schedule, and the exact place you're going to be working, sir. Stay out of Fulton County. Let's hear for court or to see your lawyer. Don't even stop at your gas when you come to court. Yes, Ms. Taylor.
I believe if I'm not mistaken, I believe his work was in Fulton County. I'm not sure, but that would eliminate. And I know the job that he can go back to. I'm not sure if it's Fulton County or not, Judge.
Well, if it's Fulton County, he can come back for work only, but he's got to supply he's got to supply every time what his schedule is, when he'll be here. $50,000 good bond. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth. Thank you, Ms. Taylor.
Thank you, Judge. Happy Thanksgiving.
You too. All right, Elizabeth High, Mr. Samuel. Elizabeth High.
She's here. She just waved her hand. You see her?
Okay, I see her. Let's see. It's one on the add-on pretrial 22 CP 210782. False statements, willful obstruction, hindrance of a firefighter. Trial. Anything.
So, Judge, this is the second time I've appeared before you on behalf of Ms. High. You remember last time we were asking permission for her to go to Union County to attend a memorial service for her father. We appreciate that, and you know, I was thinking I would get with a solicitor and get with a state court judge or wherever this case ends up and get these matters resolved, but they're kind of piecemealing. But here's where we are now. The facts of the case, very briefly, is Ms. High was living with her partner. I can't remember the address, but in Fulton County, and her partner attempted suicide. And Ms. High came home, kind of rescued her, you know, pulled her down. She was using a belt, tied it up to like a pull-up bar. She pulled her down. She you know, cut the belt loose, started rendering CPR, and then called her brother, whose roommate is a mental health counselor, and tried to figure out what to do. It was a kind of frantic, you know, chaotic situation, needless to say, as you can imagine. And so the roommate, excuse me, the brother's roommate did what was, you know, the more calm thing to do, which was called 911. and sent ambulance and firefighters over to the house. When they arrived, Ms. High was concerned for reasons we don't necessarily have to get into, but is what led to the charges in this case. She tried to stop them from coming in initially, but that didn't last for more than a few minutes. And then the firefighters came in and took her partner away, and she was saved. She was fine. So she was arrested for interfering with the firefighters and the ambulance people. Should not have slowed them down from coming in. And so her partner was hospitalized for quite some time. When she came home, Ms. High moved out of their place where they were living together. And for some reason, the original judge who set bond in this case had a stay away order. And I wish I could tell you why. I don't know why. I was not the lawyer at the time. And there was a stay away order to keep the two of them apart. I get calls. There was a period of time where I was getting calls. It seemed to me like about every 20 minutes from the other woman, Miss Mooney, saying, can you get rid of this stay away order? And I kept responding to her that you're not my client. I can't represent you. I've got to just represent my client. And she has also asked me, but you need to have your own lawyer. I can't be both of your lawyers. So that's where we are. I can tell the court, Miss Mooney desperately, more so even than my client, wants the stay away order removed. Ms. High actually does still live in the apartment. I got mixed up who moved out, but so all I'm asking is that you eliminate the stay away order. They're not going to be living together. In fact, the next time I appear before you, because I couldn't get it on this motion calendar, she actually wants to move to Union County to the family house up there, but that's neither here nor there at this point. What we really want to do right now is eliminate the stay away order so they can have some contact, some phone calls with each other. They spent a number of years living together. And it just, I don't even know why it was put into effect. It seems odd to me. I think there was some false inferences that were drawn by the original lawyers in this case about how this all came about.
All right. Pre-trial, nothing else on her criminal history, right?
No, Judge, one misdemeanor arrest in Florida.
All right. Ms. Porter, what do you say?
Your Honor, I just would like to add just a few facts to Counsel Samuel's statements. The defendant did argue with the firefighters and medical personnel, and when asked if anyone needed medical attention, she stated no. When they were able to finally get past her, they observed the victim on the ground convulsing. So that's why we have these cases before the court. Your Honor, I was unable to speak with Laura Mooney. So for that reason, I can't consent to for any contact. Had I been able to speak with her and she was able to let me know that she wanted to have no violent contact, I would have been able to consent to that. But without speaking with her, the state was we're unable to consent to that order right now.
Well, just 2 seconds. I can send you 100 emails where she just, is stalking me to get rid of this stay away order. So I have it in writing from her, phone calls. And if what you're saying is no violent contact, that's fine. You want to put that in there. That's not a problem at all. They just can't even talk on the phone at this point. They can't communicate. They're not allowed to have any relationship at all. And that's all we're trying to get away with. If you want to add a no violent contact, that's perfectly okay with us. And that's fine.
All right, Skip, what I understand is the alleged victim tried to commit suicide. She helped her out. That's what I got out of there and what you said. So we'll do it as no further violent contact. Just send me that order. Best of luck to you, ma'am. Thank you, Mr. Stevens.
Happy Thanksgiving.
You too. Have a good one. Thank you. See, Emily Brownstein.
I'm here.
All right, who's your lawyer, Ms. Brownstein?
I believe it's supposed to be Sean Hoover.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I'll be stepping in for Mr. Hoover.
All right, 22 CP 208-336, possession of Schedule 2, possession of Schedule 5, and sales. Pre-trial, what do I need to know?
Only prior arrest is a misdemeanor.
All right, so it looks like she wants to live in North Carolina. Tell me about it, Mr. Wilson.
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Brownstein has a case where she's the victim of kidnapping and domestic abuse in North Carolina.
And so she's hoping that she can switch her address so that she can testify against her abuser.
So she's already living in North Carolina.
Now she is, yes.
Oh, so she moved to a different address in North Carolina. Ms. Porter?
I spoke with Deputy District Attorney Winfrey, who has this case, and she's consenting to allowing the defendant to live in North Carolina.
Or a different address. All right, Mr. Wilson, just submit the order and I'll be glad to sign it.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, let's see. Anthony Brown.
Good evening, Your Honor.
Mr. Brown, show up.
He was on the call. There he
All
is.
right, yeah, there he is. All right, pretrial, this is 22 CP 211875. Battery, family violence, subsequent conviction, prior forcible felony conviction. Anything pretrial?
He has a couple of open cases for violence. Different victims have a prior conviction for battery, family violence. Those victims are Chantel Daniels and Fatima Amin. Nothing further.
All right, go ahead, counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is a case where 2 months ago, the ADA Simone Hilton with the DA's office consented to a bond after speaking with the alleged victim, Miss Amin. Previous to this incident, they had lived together and there was a no contact order as a condition of the bond. It's my understanding, based on the alleged victim reaching out to me, that she wants contact. There's some issues with how she feels about the alleged facts in this case as well. And I believe she's communicated that to the DA's office. Your Honor, the no contact order had my client living with his parents, who really cannot accommodate his living. There's really not room there. He also has a daughter with another woman, Miss Chantel Daniels, who's currently in the Fulton County Jail on her own charges, not related to my client. So he's had to help care for his daughter. He works, he has a power washing and a landscaping business. The alleged victim, Miss Amin, in this case, she wants contact. They had lived together. They actually now have a child on the way. She's pregnant with my client's child. So she has indicated that she desires contact. So first, we're requesting that the court amend the contact provision to no violent contact. And the alternative, as a backup, we requested that he at least be able to live there at the address. Miss Amin, she could live with her sister, but I really don't want to displace her out of her own home, especially when she's pregnant. So we're asking the court to amend to no violent contact. He's enrolled in family violence intervention as well. And so that's what we're asking the court.
How far along is she, counselor?
I believe she's at least several months.
Mr. Brown?
3 months.
All right, just doing some math is when you were arrested, see if there's been contact since you got out of jail. Go ahead, counsel, Mr. Who's up? Not Ms. Porter. All right.
Yes, ADA White now for the state. Thank you, Judge. Judge, given this defendant's history of convictions and the fact that this consent order was entered in September of 2022, so just a few months ago, it was agreed to by the parties that he would remain away from the victim, that he would not go back to that address. And yes, in my conversations with the victim, she has indicated that she has no objection to this this modification. The state does object and is concerned about her well-being, especially given the fact that she's pregnant. So we do not consent and we do object to the modification of bond.
Did he live with her before, counsel, Mr. Jarvis?
He did, Your Honor. That was essentially, I mean, they lived there for a long period of time together.
5 years.
Mr. Wittenauer, is she a previous victim?
5 years.
Excuse me?
Yes, she is in 22 SC 184540.
Is there no contact in that bond condition?
You know what? I didn't look once I saw that the first two victims were different, but I'll look. Hold on.
If I can pull that up too. Yep, it says no direct or indirect contact with Miss Amin. No weapons, drugs, alcohol must reside at home. Then I can't read the rest of it. Oh, something. I think it's a curfew. I can't even read his handwriting. Curfew, church, court, medical appointments. School, church, court, medical appointments. Looks like that bond was in October 23rd, 2019. I don't see where it was amended. And then you had this offense.
Your Honor, I don't know if that case has been even
It's been indicted.
as of when? Just recently?
It was indicted on October 4th.
So there was that bond order then. So I'm going to deny this bond modification. You violated that bond order by having contact with her this last time. Best of luck to you, sir.
Your Honor, that concludes my business. May I be excused?
Yes, sir. Have a good evening. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving you too,
Thank you,
Mr.
sir.
Jordan.
Judge,
Your Honor.
before you address Ms. Rockwell, I think Mr. Richardson has want to address his bond order as well. I just want it whenever you do.
Okay, which one is that? Oh, the one he said was, which one, Mr. Richardson?
Good morning, Judge. He's in position 6. That is Jermaine Morigne.
On the first calendar, Ms. Robinson?
I believe the first
Oh,
calendar.
Jermaine Morgan. Okay, go ahead.
Judge, I misspoke. I said that he lived in DeKalb County. No sooner I hung the phone up, his sister, mother, and fiance and son all called me, say he lives in Fairburn, Georgia. They lost a home that they had in the south side of Atlanta. I have an address specific that he lives there with his 72-year-old mom and his son who's in the 10th grade at Creekside High School. The address is on Preserve Pass in Fairburn, Georgia, 30213. I'd ask the court, since he's on 24-hour ankle monitor, to allow him to live at that address.
So
It is 6037 Preserve Pass, Fairburn,
all right, so he gave the DeKalb County address when he's booked in. So no longer going to live there, right?
Right, yeah, I think he was evicted or lost it as a result of the arrest.
Okay, that 24-hour curfew will still apply. So I don't know. Vody signed that one, Ms. Williams?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, she'll have to resubmit it with an amended bond order.
I
And what
apologize,
are we
Judge.
changing?
That's okay, Mr. Richardson. We'll modify that and file the change of address with the court so that we'll have it, okay?
Will do. Ms. Williams, do you need me to type it into the chat?
You have to file something in the clerk's office.
No, I'm talking about just the address for her.
Okay, Your Honor, what are we changing on the bond? I'm sorry.
Take out the 24-hour, well, take out stay out of Fulton County because he actually is going to live in Fulton County.
Okay. Will do.
Well, no, she won't need the address. You'll just need to put in that change of address with the clerk's office so they'll have it.
I'll file that Odyssey. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Rockwell. Ms. Rockwell. Okay, Ms. Rockwell.
Hi, Judge.
Hey, go.
I like to wait till last because both of my guys are on bond. Am I last?
You're last. I knew you like to wait till last.
Can we address?
Which one first? You got Fisher and Pugh. Which one you want first?
Oh, I thought I had Troy Curb.
And Curb. You got Fisher, Pugh, and Curb.
Okay, and I don't have Miss Fisher on the line. But let me talk to you about Troy Curb real quick.
All right, hold on a second. Hold on, Ms. Rockwell. Let me do it. 22 CP 209655. Troy Curb. He's charged with escape $15,000 bond. What I got? Pre-trial.
On probation in Douglas for theft by taking probation just ended in October for possession of meth. Nothing further.
All right, Ms. Rockwell said he wants to remove the 24-hour curfew. Go ahead, Ms. Rockwell.
Right, and are you saying that he doesn't have any more probation?
No.
Or was
No,
there
that's not
some
what I said.
probation?
Mr. Curb, you're gonna have to turn your camera on. You don't sit there in the dark when you're in my courtroom.
I'm blocked out,
Turn
ma'am.
I don't know why you're blocked out. Everybody else could use their camera, Mr. Curb. You gotta figure out how to turn it on.
It says the host has asked you to start your. Oh, okay, there we go.
Don't talk. Go ahead, Ms. Rockwell.
Okay, and I was watching him the whole time in the truck. I was hoping he wasn't driving, so I hope you weren't seeing him driving while he was in his truck. So can I tell you a little bit about this case? But I want to ask Madam Probation first, or Madam Pretrial. Are you saying his probation is over in Douglas, or that was just one of the probations that was over?
Bostic.
That's Bostic. I can't hear what she's saying, Judge, if she's saying anything.
Just one.
Oh, he's got just one probation year left? That's what I. Okay, anyway, let me tell you about him. He was in, this is a warrant for escape. He was in jail and got out on parole and was at a transition center.
I remember this.
And this, you know, these cases where you can come and go, and when you don't come back timely, then it's an escape.
Right. When you go, but don't come. Go ahead.
Right. He got rearrested and then sat in jail for a couple of years. Mr. Curb, wasn't it not in excess of 2 years?
He's not sworn in, Ms. Rockwell.
Okay. Well, I'll just state to you, I can swear him in if you have time, that he goes and finishes doing his time, and he's got this escape warrant pending for like 2 years and 7 months or something. And they never bring him back to Fulton County. Then he finally comes back in June of 22, and we got him a bond in September. So now we have an escape charge that's got a little age on it now, if you will. He's living now with his boss, and he's working. And he would like to, number one, move. So I sent you his new address, and I also copied Ms. Porter on it. It's going to be in Lithia Springs. I would like to the court to allow him to move to that address. He's going to be continuing to work for his boss, but he was living with his boss, but now he's got a little bit of change, and he would like to move to Lithia Springs. But what he would also like is that he's very, very, very close to his aunt. And I promised him that after he had a little bit of a successful time on his ankle monitor, that I would ask for you to, I'm not going to ask you to take the monitor off, but I'm going to ask you to remove his curfew because he would like to go visit with his aunt. I'm not sure what the ankle monitor is for. It's not like he needs to stay away from anybody or anything like that. He is, I'd love for them to just hurry up and accuse the case, and we'll go in and probably get time served because he's got a couple of years under his belt. But anyway, that's my request.
Go ahead, Ms. Porter.
Your Honor, the state does not believe there's enough evidence to remove the 24-hour curfew. I believe that it was added in September. It's been like 2 months, and it would be the state's position that the current bond conditions are fine.
What do they want to do, Ms. Rockwell? Work?
He really wants to be able to go and after he gets off of work, go see his aunt, who was actually the one that hired me. And she loves him, and I would bring her, but she's not a party. He would just, this escape happened a long,
Yeah.
long time ago.
I remember Miss Rockwell. His aunt can't come see him.
Well, yeah, I guess she could. I mean, how long is long enough?
How about check back with me? How about check back with me in January, Miss Rockwell?
Okay, well, can I ask you if he could maybe like visit? Can I just get you maybe with Miss Porter on a one-on-one basis, all three of us, one on two, on one on three, just to see if I can get special permission during the holidays, if he can go, see family, etc. And it's going to be some good, wholesome visiting. I mean, let me just tell you, he's living with his boss.
You're killing me, Miss Rockwell. You're killing me.
He's living with his boss.
If he wants to go see his family for Christmas, I don't think Miss Porter's a Scrooge. She'll probably make an exception for that, but I got to have a schedule. Okay. When he's going to go, the address he's going to be at. Now, that doesn't mean he goes tomorrow, stays till the 1st of January.
No, I know. And I'll get some, I like to reward good behavior.
I do too. And so send me an order with the dates, where he's going to be, the dates he's going to leave, the date he's going to come back. And we can make it.
And I'll send it to Miss Porter also.
There you go.
And just see if we can maybe, now, okay, Mr. Carb, did you hear that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Figure out when you're going to go, Mr. Carb.
The only reason he's in the dark is because he's pulled over, and it was light a couple of minutes ago, and I saw him in the car all getting excited for his hearing.
All right.
So, Mr. Carb, I will get in touch with you as soon as I get off. I've got 2 more issues.
All right. Thank you. All right. Mr. Pugh.
Yes.
22 CP 209609, Terry Pugh. Possession of firearm during the commission of certain felonies, aggravated assault, criminal damage to property, possession of firearm by a convicted felon.
Judge, 6 arrests, still mathematically on probation for an aggravated assault in 06, 2 years confinement, 18 years probation, 06 SC 44116, sentence in 06. Nothing further.
If I'm not mistaken, Ms. Rockwell, this is the one where he worked at the property, the alleged victim lived at the property, and you got some proof showing the alleged victim don't live there because you want to make an exception so he can go back and at least work there, right?
Well, I would love for him to go back and live there. Let me tell you who's there. All his cars, what's left of his dogs, because before the guy left,
don't say you hurt the dogs, Miss Rockwell. Don't say you hurt the dogs. So the guy doesn't live there.
He does not live there.
Okay, Mr. Pugh, no, you don't talk. No, Ms. Rockwell does. Go ahead, Ms. Rockwell.
What I had sent you, Judge, was the lease, that he's the leaseholder. Somebody else owns the property. So what I filed was like an emergency motion to correct the bond, because you did tell me as long as dude isn't there, Corey Taylor, he could go back and work there. Now, Corey Taylor got evicted, as you recall, and that's why all the drama between them happened. And he didn't get shot. He just said that Mr. Pugh had assaulted him. Mr. Pugh didn't call the police fast enough. Our position was that Mr. Taylor had assaulted him anyway. So what can we get? Because the ankle monitor company said the way that the bond order is written right now, he can't even go back and check on it. He can't go pick up the monies. He can't go fix there's a water leak right now at that property, and the water bill is in excess of $15,000. The water company said, if you can fix the water leak, we will give you, we will do something about this huge bill, but he can't go back there because the ankle monitor company, you know how sometimes there's some thought that they don't really monitor. They say you cannot go near that property. So
What do you say, Ms. Porter?
Your Honor, I spoke with Mr. Corey Taylor this morning. He affirmed to me that this structure is his business, his place of business. He does not live there, it's his place of business. There's a house at the back of this lot where the defendant works. He has cars there, and I guess he's a mechanic. He works on those cars. Mr. Taylor also indicated that the defendant's family has come to the business, surrounded him to intimidate and threaten him, and he's called 911 on several times. And they've actually called his mother and threatened him as well. For that reason, the state is unable to consent to have the defendant return to that location because it does not appear the victim lives there. I spoke with him earlier today. This is his place of business, if his employment, and that he's not been evicted.
So tell me how, if it's a place to live, how's that his place of business? That's what I'm curious about.
it's a rooming house.
What explained to me from Mr. Corey, and I didn't go on Google Maps to confirm any of this, it appears that there's a structure in the front that the victim, Mr. Taylor owns, and then there's a house in the back of this lot where the defendant works on cars or does his business.
So Ms. Rockwell, she says the victim, the alleged victim, actually owns the property.
No, I have the, I said that earlier, and Judge, it was with a different ADA. I can send the lease. I can send it to you and Miss, I'm sorry.
Porter.
I just drew a blank. Miss Porter, Jaslyn, I can send you a copy of the lease again. That should be in your email from a long time ago.
Ms. Rockwell, does the alleged victim own the building?
No, somebody else owns the property. Now, I wish Mr. Taylor would just have gotten on this hearing because he was the one that got evicted out of the property and has never come back to live there.
Let's see, Ms. Porter.
I have the victim on the line. He's unable to, he's a truck driver, so he's unable to log on, but I have him on the line. He indicated he does not own the property. He rents, so he has a lease and he rents, and there's a room in the back in which the defendant handles his business. This is what I'm hearing from Mr. Taylor, who's unable to log on right now, but who was listening.
Can I send you the lease and all that?
Where's the eviction, Ms. Rockwell?
Excuse me?
Where's the dispossessory?
It wasn't a formal eviction. They just said, you're not paying anymore, so you got to get out. It was one of those.
Is his stuff out? I mean, I want to let him go back there, but I got to see that the guy's not, that he's not staying there. There's no formal eviction. I got to know, got to see something.
Does Ms. Porter, does your victim at least say that he's not living in the house where he was living? Will he at least commit to that?
Like I'm not staying there, I'm staying at my own.
He has his own house. He works from this location. He said he does not physically live there. He goes to this structure to do his business, his trucking business.
Okay, Ms. Porter, hold on.
Okay.
If it's a rooming house, hold on, if it's a rooming house, Ms. Porter, what work is a truck driver doing at a rooming house?
One moment, Your Honor. Your Honor, the victim's, he said that he used to live in this rooming house. He moved out last year, and now he still rents a room where he handles his business affairs. So he does not live there. He's using it as an office instead of a residential location because he has a place where he lives.
Tell me what kind of business affairs a truck driver has that they need an office.
Coming out surrounding the office.
I can ask him one moment here. Oh, okay. it's not just a trucking business, it's also a coffee house that he has in that building. as
Okay.
well.
Miss Porter, this is a rooming house. I'm not going to go buy any coffee at a rooming house. Who buys coffee at a rooming house?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm hearing this straight from Mr. Taylor.
So he's running a coffee shop out of a room that he rents at a boarding house.
It appears that he handles a lot of business affairs out of this room in the rooming house. I guess Attorney Rockwell, Your Honor, if you wouldn't mind, we could try to work this out offline where we can.
Well, that doesn't really pass the whiff test, Miss Porter. He's a truck driver. You don't run a coffee shop out of a boarding house.
He's saying that this is not a rooming house. He's saying it's a commercial property. But like I said, Your Honor, I did not get an opportunity to Google Maps this to confirm. I apologize.
Okay.
All right, hold on, hold on. Mr. Pugh is waving his hand. He's going crazy.
You're making me nervous, Mr. Pugh. Let me put you under oath. You're charged with a criminal offense, and I'm trying the way I understood it. I'm gonna send the prosecutor and the judge a copy of the lease again for this structure, but I need to swear you in because I want to ask you about the structure itself and who actually lives in the house right now. I think Mr. Taylor says that he doesn't live there anymore. Okay.
But he rents a place to fill coffee out of it.
Is there a coffee? Okay, you're on mute, sir. Hold on, you're on mute.
Okay.
And hold on, you're not under oath. Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear and affirm that testimony you're going to give in this matter be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God, or do you so affirm?
Yes.
Put your hand down, sir. State your full name for the record.
My name is Terry L. Pugh.
Okay. What is the exact Waters Drive arrest that you are trying to go back, fix the leak, take care of your clothes, your shoes, your cars, and what's left of your dogs?
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to do.
What is the exact address?
2739 Waters Road, Atlanta, Georgia, 30354.
Is there a rooming house located at that address?
Yes.
Are you the houseman of that house?
Yes, I'm the primary man of the house.
Okay. Do you do all maintenance, etc.?
I do everything.
Okay. Mr.
Meals, everything.
Taylor says, okay. Mr. Taylor says that he did move out of that home last year. Is that also your understanding?
Yes,
from
ma'am.
the owner and from the other residents?
Yes, ma'am. He haven't paid no bills.
Okay. Okay. It doesn't matter why he left or was asked to leave.
Yes.
Is he living there now?
No.
Is there some type of a coffee shop in one of the rooms in this rooming house?
No.
Okay. Are you certain that he does not have a room in this rooming house?
On my life.
Okay. And I'm not sure what the issue is about him at a different structure or where he works. Is there another structure near that place that he could be running a little coffee shop out of?
No. Am I able to? No. The problem is, am I able to speak?
I just don't want you to say anything that's going to hurt you later.
It's not gonna hurt me because I went downtown, and there's a situation that the people know downtown what's going on with these trucks these people getting, and they're not paying for it. I have evidence showing that he was renting vehicles and.
Mr. Pugh, that has nothing to do with this.
Okay. If he's got bringing trucks and we're not talking about that. We're talking about a rooming house, and no. I know there's a situation with the water leak. Give me the 30-second skinny. Tell the judge about the Atlanta Water Company and what's going on with that leak and the bill, etc.
Okay, the bill is $15,000. They're telling me that the water must be fixed before they can adjust the bill. I cannot go to the house. I can't get my vehicle. I can't get my clothes. I can't do nothing. I'm out. I'm just out. I can't see about my dog. I lost one dog already. It just, I'm in the blue. The man do not stay there. He do not have no business there. And that's all I have to say.
All right, Ms. Porter. I mean, you know, like I said, something ain't passing the whiff test with this coffee shop, whatever this person says. I mean, I looked up there on Google Maps what it is. It looks like a tiny little building. I don't know.
Yes,
Judge, I'm gonna send
And I saw the lease. The lease is dated 2017. Looks like Mr. Pugh's resided there either in a back room or wherever since 2017.
Thank you.
Yes, Your
I'm
Honor.
gonna try to get that to her.
And
The
that's
state
Mr.
understands your position. I just spoke with Mr. Taylor, and that's the information I have from him today, Your Honor.
I understand. Mr. Pugh, I mean, I'll let you go back there, Mr. Pugh, but you got to understand there's still a stay away from him. So if he's there, when you go there one day, Mr. Pugh, listen, don't even. If he's there, you can't be there, no matter what. So that's fine if you go there, but like I said, if he shows up, I don't know, call 911 or something. You can't be there. Got it?
Yes, ma'am. I'll call the police when I go there.
But
okay,
Ms. Porter, no, it's like I said, something doesn't pass the whip test here. No, look, is this Corey calling on his iPhone? Because everything he said to you, it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense.
Can I send you a bond order that what the bond order says now is that he's got to stay away.
I understand.
Judge, did you want me to admit Corey?
Good gosh, yes, but this ain't all night. We're almost finished. This is the shortest calendar we had, and everybody's ready to go. Bostic's gonna get grumpy.
I had to put the on here.
Boston, yeah, Boston's gonna get grumpy.
Yes.
What?
But look at you being snappish. Who do we have left? Fisher?
Let's see. There he is.
The only thing we have left is Fisher.
Yeah, that last one.
Is that Renee's as well?
Oh gosh, yes. She's gonna give her 3 minutes.
Renee, you have a 20-word max.
Oh, and who is this on?
He's not connected. All right, Mr. Corey, Mr. Taylor, take yourself off mute. Raise your right hand. You swear firm testimony about to give truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. Take yourself off mute and say yes.
Yes.
What? You don't live there. So what do you do? Selling coffee? None of this made sense.
Okay, so basically, I have formed a new business there.
No, not basically, what do you do there?
Okay, I sell coffee online. On and I thought my phone had died. Yes, and I run a trucking company that I park 3 trucks across the street at the lot. That's connected to the building.
So you park trucks across the street?
Yes, 3 box trucks.
Okay. Well, then why can't Mr. Pugh live there? Your trucks are across the street.
So the trucks are connected to the lot. Terry Pugh, I had came to your office and filed a restraining order against him at your in your court before, and because he's known to walk around with a firearm and try to intimidate pretty much everybody.
Well, he better not have a weapon now. Period. Move on. I don't want to hear that. This isn't TPO time. This is bond hearing.
Right.
You don't live there.
Can I just find out if
Go
he's
ahead. Ask
living
him a
in the
couple.
rooming house?
Ask him a couple questions.
Mr.
Taylor.
It's Taylor. I'm sorry. Are you living in this rooming house?
I'm not physically living there. I physically live here.
Okay. You're not planning on going over there and fixing that leak, are you?
Yes, I go over there every day until his family starts showing up trying to intimidate me and make
Okay. Sir, you're not planning on going to that house and fixing this big $15,000 water leak, are you?
There's no water leak, but if I knew of one, yes, I'll fix it.
Okay. You don't have a lease at that house, do
Yes.
you?
Yes.
It's your testimony that you have a lease at that residence where we supplied a lease already. Judge, would you please send that to Ms. Porter?
Oh, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Why do you need to go there, Mr. Taylor? If you sell coffee, I guess you store it there. Why can't you go get it one day a week and let this man live there and work there where he's been living since 2017?
Because I go there every day.
For what? You're a truck driver.
Okay.
Because that's why I park my trucks and that's where the drivers go pick up the trucks.
All right. So you go over there, get out of your car, get in the truck, right?
Yeah. Well, I go over there and I get in the office and I dispatch the drivers who come there, park their car there and get in the trucks.
Okay. Let me just understand this.
Miss Rockwell,
Is
where's the
there a
owner of
way
this? Miss Rockwell, where's the owner of this building?
Miss,
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I can't get
Mr.
everybody
P.
at one time.
Okay. Where is the owner of the building?
Judge, he's not on the line, and I can certainly get him on the line if we want to do a
Bring him back next time because I want to see, Miss Rockwell, who the owner is of this building, what he says. Because I ain't never in my life rented a place and gonna go repair a $15,000 water leak. That's ridiculous.
No. That's why I was asking Mr. Corey Taylor if he could please supply Madam Prosecutor with your copy of a lease to this 2739 Waters Road address.
Gotcha. The lease was signed by Terry Pugh as well.
Okay, but you've been evicted out of that lease.
I was never evicted.
Okay.
Whoa, hold on. Mr. Pugh signed a lease for you. Where is the owner of this building? That's all I want to talk to. Mr. Pugh, Mr. Taylor, what? Mr. Taylor, stop. Mr. Taylor, what day? You're not going out and hanging out over there. Can we get some sort of proof? Because if this is where this guy's stuff is and this is where he lives, then he needs to go over there. So you need to talk to the prosecutor and figure out a schedule when you'll be there so that Mr. Pugh can be there. Mr. Pugh, if that TPO is still in place that says 200 yards, 200 yards. Y'all got to figure this out. If this man's stuff is there, then he needs to go there. And I'm not keeping him away from his house. Heck, he was the landlord that wrote the lease for you. Yes, Miss Rockwell.
I just lost you, Judge. I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Well, it doesn't make sense. Mr. Pugh wrote this thing. So, Mr. Taylor, figure it out with Miss Porter. You can go over there twice a week. Whatever you need to do, you can do it. Or you find another place. I don't know. But this is ridiculous. This man can't go back to his house. If his family's over there threatening you, take a TPO out against them.
He has a warrant against him already.
Mr. Pugh, I don't care.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Nobody cares, bro. That you went down there.
Mr. Taylor.
Okay, buddy.
No.
Okay.
So do that. Mr. Taylor, reach out to Miss Porter, work that out because this doesn't pass the whiff test with me. And I know my voice sounds like cornbread and buttermilk, but let me tell you something. I'm smarter than I sound. And this ain't even making sense. Not adding up. Makes no sense whatsoever. Figure it out. Figure it out before Wednesday at 5:00. This Wednesday at 5:00, so I can sign Miss Rockwell's order. Bye, Mr. Pugh. Bye, Mr. Taylor.
Thank you.
All right, what about Mr. Fisher? You want to go ahead and argue with Miss?
Yes, Judge.
All right, hold on. Hold on.
Okay.
22.
Mrs. Pugh, you can sign out.
Bye, Mr. Pugh.
Pugh, you can sign out.
22 CP 207-840. Nehemiah Fisher, aggravated assault with deadly weapon, possession of firearm during the commission of felony, theft by receiving stolen property. Pre-trial. She wants to remove the curfew.
No felony convictions, no violence, no DUI in 05, nothing further.
All right, Ms. Rockwell, why does he want to remove the curfew?
Judge, she does have a young child. She is, as you know, without record, and it is a female judge. I'm sorry.
Okay, sorry about that.
I think that her good behavior. I told her that. And by the way, this incident happened allegedly, right outside of her house. And so I told her that good behavior should go unpunished. And I told her that we would swing back around. She's been out for a little while. She was working for DFAX. She lost her job, and she's just, trying to get back in the swing of things, Judge. So she has been out for several weeks. Can you see exactly when she got out? I'm
So what
having
does she
so
want
much
to,
trouble.
why does she want to modify it?
Because she just doesn't want a 24-hour-a-day curfew, Judge. And
But
I
what
told
does she
her
want to
that I
do?
would swing.
Leave for work?
She would like to do other things other than just go back and forth to work. She does have a young child who's probably about 6 years old by now.
So she needs to take the child to school.
She wants to take the child to school. It's about to be the holiday. She's trying to visit with family, and she's I'm trying to do a step up with her, Judge. She hasn't had a hiccup because I usually get calls from, I know all those gals from the ANA All County Monitor. And whenever I have anybody that's messing up, they always call me and say, listen, so-and-so's messing up and we're fixing to take them back to the courts. So I filed a motion to modify a little while ago, and I'm just asking.
She got out July 7th. Ms. Porter?
Your Honor, the state will consent to modifying the current bond conditions to include school transport and to visit family during the holiday season, but unable to consent to a full release of the 24-hour curfew at this time.
So transporting her child to and from school, if the child has medical visits, Ms. Rockwell, send us.
Can we do a 10 to 6? Can we do a 10 to 6, Judge? Curfew and all other things remain the same. And like I said, she doesn't really have to stay away because this happened like right out at her house, started in her house and finished outside the house allegedly. And there was shots between both parties. The my girl's the victim of another lady, and that lady is a victim of my girl. So she doesn't have to stay away from the incident location. I would just like all other things remaining the same, her to have no contact with her friend that was the alleged victim here. And I would also ask if the court would consider, I'm sorry, I think I'm getting sick, a 10 to 6 curfew instead of a 24-hour a day.
Bostic, how many words was that?
Well over 20.
This Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Weekends only medical and things for her daughter. Is her daughter?
It's a son.
Okay, thanks.
Tell me so I'll get this right. She can be out from 10 to 5?
10 to 5, Monday through 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. So her curfew is 5 p.m. to 10 a.m. And on the weekends, it's 24
hours. Except for work, right?
Okay, listen to me.
Except for work, right?
On the weekends, if she has to work.
Wait a minute. So I don't do
Miss Rockwell. Miss Rockwell, here's what we're going to do. Tell you what. She can go court, lawyer, medical. She can go take her child to school. So necessary things to get her child from school to school and things of that nature. For work, as long as she applies the name of her employer, her schedule, and where she's going to be. And then turn over a schedule when she's going to go out of town for the holidays, where she'll be, she'll be there in the address and she can go for the holiday.
Okay. And you said 10 to 5.
Nope, no, just 24 hours.
Okay.
I give her permission to do all she's got to do. Of course, she's going to have to. So, ma'am, if she goes to pick up her kid from school, she can go shopping 1 mile within a 1 mile or 2 mile vicinity of her house. No reason for her to go up to Perimeter Mall, go shopping, because I know she doesn't live there.
Okay. Because I told her, I said, you can't even go to the grocery store on the way back, go back and forth. So
she can go to the grocery store, but she doesn't leave a mile outside of where she's at.
Okay.
Write it up and get it to me, Miss Rockwell.
All right. Thank you so much, Judge.
Happy Thanksgiving, Miss Rockwell. You wore me down.
If I told you I was outside of the jail right now, the sheriffs came and checked on me, make sure I was okay. I guess they thought I was planning a jailbreak. Thank you, Judge.
All right, thanks.
Thank you so much, Ms. Porter. I appreciate it.
Anything else, anybody?
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Miss Gandy. I think Miss Williams is gone.
Judge, that's
No, I'm
showing your
on here.
business. Everybody don't have places to shop within a mile of where they live, except for people who live in downtown area, fancy pants. But she lives in the outskirts.
Anything else?
Have a good holiday, Judge.
Judge,
And
I'm
everyone
gonna,
else.
I'm gonna email you and Ms. Porter so you can tell me kind of how to construct this. So I have something.
It's a mile within where, so she goes to pick her kid up. She can go within a 1 mile radius to get dinner. Or get groceries or when she goes to work. Okay.
Okay.
Common
So she
sense.
needs to keep it kind of tight.
Right.
Kind of
Common
not all over the place, just very confined.
Have a good one, Your
in
Honor.
her-
Have a
See
good
you
one.
later, LT.
Enjoy your
Have
time
a good
off.
holiday, LT.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Let me stop this stream.
Right.
All right,
Have a
bye-bye.
good one, everybody.